Well, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, or whatever your current life situation is. Hello, YouTube. This is Jeffrey Kite back again with another episode of Kite's Curiosities. This is a very special July 4th edition of the Kite's Curiosities channel. These 4 autograph returns that you see right here, they are all themed and centered around this wonderful celebration that we all do across America today on July the 4th. These are 4 military greats of history. And in my opinion, they deserve to be honored and respected, as do all members of our military and their stories. And these are just 4 of their 4 returns that I got. I got another one that I'm going to share with you. I lost the envelope too, but I'm glad I was able to keep that autograph. That one is coming out of Maryland. And then I got one coming out of Oklahoma City. Shout out to Jay Pylon. This is a guy you might want to write to. San Antonio, Texas, Portland, Oregon, and Pensacola, Florida. So let's get right to it here, okay? So first up is the autograph that I lost the envelope to, but very glad that I kept the autograph. I had separated it, I guess, and the envelope got thrown away. But this is an autograph return from Mr. Everett Alvarez. Mr. Everett Alvarez was a Navy pilot during the Vietnam War, and he was a prisoner of war for 8 years in Vietnam. 8 years. That is the second longest any American has endured captivity as a prisoner of war. James Thompson, who has since passed away, he was held for, I think, 9 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. But Everett Alvarez, he is still with us, living up in the Maryland area. Thank you so much for your autograph. I appreciate it. And thank you for your service. I respect you so very much, sir, and your story. The next one we're going to take is this one right here out of Oklahoma City. Again, shout out to Jay Pylon. This is some guy you might want to do a custom card on, and I know he would really enjoy it and would love it, Jay. So give him a shout out if you haven't already. This is from Mr. Dwight Birdwell. And if y'all want a free address, there it is right there. Dwight Birdwell. He sent back a plethora of just wonderful things. He sent back this little custom card. He put his initials on there. He said, he put a sticky note on the back. He says, this was a gift to Dub, which that was his nickname, Dub Birdwell. Gift to Dub by the Department of Defense and President Biden. And it just has the Army Medal of Honor website on the back. A little bit of info, Army and Facebook. So very happy to have been gifted this. Thank you so much. I'll put that there. And my letter, he sent thank you, Dub. And my lengthy letter to him. I try to load up my letters and let these guys know how much I appreciate them. He signed my index card and loaded it up with all of his information. I'm going to get to all of this here in a minute. Yes, all right, I'll slide that there. And he sent back this beautiful picture right here that he signed as well. So very happy to have Mr. Dub, Dwight Birdwell, as part of my military and United States history collection. And tell you a little bit about Dub here. He was part of the Tet Offensive, 1968, as described right there. That was when these Vietnam forces, North Vietnamese, were attacking an air base, and a lot of Americans were there, and it was a huge battle. And Birdwell here, he was a tank operator, and so he was in a tank with his tank commander, and his tank commander was badly wounded in the battle. So Dwight, he got his tank commander to safety and get where he could get checked out, and then he just took over the tank. He took control, and he began firing on the enemy and pushing them back, and he eventually ran out of ammo. So they thought, okay, well, this tank's out of ammo. We're going to attack again. But Mr. Birdwell here, he got an M60 machine gun and pushed back the enemy again. He was wounded. He was having to fight through some tough conditions, but he saved the lives of so many men that day, got so many wounded soldiers to safety, and, gave that cover fire that was needed to do these rescue missions. And then, on this date, July 4th, 1968, so we're talking 78, 88, 98, 2008, 18, be 28, it'll be 57 years ago today, Dwight Birdwell went into an enemy village, a village that was occupied by the enemy of the North Vietnamese, and he again exposed himself to all kinds of fire and being shot at, and he loaded just dozens of wounded soldiers into an APC. That's an armored personnel carrier. And loaded them up into that vehicle and got them out of that battle zone after they were pinned down and were stranded. Got them out of there. He didn't get all of them, so he went back a second time and got every single one of those guys out of that just war zone and got them to safety. And he earned a Silver Cross for that. He earned a Silver Cross for his other action on January 31st of 68 during the Tet Offensive, and that was upgraded to the Medal of Honor, and he was awarded that on July 5th, 2022 by President Biden. So very happy to have this piece of American history in my autograph collection. Mr. Birdwell, thank you so much, and I salute you, and I appreciate you for your service. Next one, I'm a little snotty this morning. Next one coming out of San Antonio, Texas. This is from Mr. Pat Brady. Mr. Pat Brady was a helicopter pilot in the Vietnam, and he was tasked one day with flying some rescue missions to get some wounded soldiers out of this really small area. There was not a lot of area to land, and he had to fight through fog and, again, enemy fire. They were shooting his helicopter up, but he landed, he got them out, and he evacuated those men. He got another call to do another rescue mission. Again, he, without hesitation, did that. And then another, and another, and another. And on that day, he flew, I think, maybe 5 or 6 missions. Don't quote me on that. I don't know how many missions he flew, but he was constantly getting shot up, shot at, but he just kept going. That day, he used 3 helicopters to rescue 51 men that would have otherwise lost their lives and perished in Vietnam. And thanks to Mr. Pat Brady here, those men got to live to tell the tale, so to speak. So thank you so much, Mr. Brady, for your service, for your actions, and for what you did that day in Vietnam and getting those men home. All right, this next one coming out of Portland, Oregon. And this is from Mr. Merrill McPeak. That is Mr. Merrill McPeak's autograph. He signed this Desert Storm card of the Pentagon. So that's where he was during the Gulf War back in the early 90s and during Operation Desert Storm. Mr. McPeak, he himself was a Vietnam veteran as well. He was an F-100 pilot in Vietnam, and those planes are called the Super Sabres. And so he flew some combat missions in Vietnam and eventually rose to the rank of Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, which he was head of that from 1990 until 1994. So he was Chief of Staff of the Air Force. So basically what that is he would report and was kind of the head of the Air Force for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who would report to the President every day about what was going on with the different divisions, Marines, Air Force, Navy, Army, that kind of thing. So he was the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. So thank you so much, Mr. McPeak. I don't want to cover anybody up. But you're right there. Thank you so much, Mr. McPeak, for your service and for what you've done for our country. Last, coming out of Pensacola, Florida. This is from General Chuck Horner. He signed 2 Desert Storm cards here during the Gulf War. Thank you so much, General Horner. He was a lieutenant general during Operation Desert Storm, during the Gulf War in Operation Desert Storm. And before that, he was a Wild Weasel pilot. That was the F-4. So the F-4, they had 2 different kinds. They had the F-4 Phantoms, and they had the F-4 Wild Weasels. And he was a Wild Weasel pilot during Vietnam. And when the Gulf War occurred, he had risen up through the ranks as a lieutenant general, and he was in charge. He was a lieutenant general in the Air Force, and he was in charge of all the coalition air forces during that campaign. So he was on TV a lot, pointing out different things, what was going on. So you saw him a lot on CNN whenever all that was going down back in the day. So very happy to have General Chuck Horner in my autograph collection. Thank you so much, General Horner. Let's put him, let's see if he'll stand up. I don't think he can. There, we'll put you right there. There we go. So that's it. What do y'all think of this very special July 4th edition of Kite's Curiosities? Brave men, brave soldiers, brave acts of valor, beautiful stories. And I thank you so much, Mr. Merrill McPeak, Mr. Pat Brady, Mr. Dwight Birdwell, Mr. Everett Alvarez, and Mr. Chuck Horner. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Till next time, y'all take care now. Have a good one. Celebrate America. Bye.